I think this was just because Ja was out and he'll come off the bench. Luke Kennard, to me, is a hired gun. You need that guy to take more than 3 threes. And in that starting lineup there, he only had 5 total shots in 22 minutes. So I don't like him in the starting lineup. But again, it worked. It worked with a great fourth quarter. And then you had the Vince Williams, Jaren Jackson Jr. combination. That worked.
Yeah, they went with Vince at the 4 there for a while, and he was, working his tail off to get rebounds, and they had the one possession where he just kept knocking the ball out of there, and they end up getting the 3-pointer from Desmond Bane, which was a massive possession. They got production from Vince, of course, makes his return. Zaire's giving production right now. Like, you're getting some production out of him. He's still not shooting the ball great from 3-point range, but he's knocking some down and providing a threat of a 3-point shooter. He's giving you some things out there. They're getting, they didn't get the bench on Friday night outside of Zaire, gave you nothing, but at least you're getting production from him. Now with Vince back, and by the way, with the 2 games that he missed with the injury, that pushes back a little bit further when you actually have to sign him to a regular contract. But if you can get those 2 guys producing once Kennard goes back to the bench, of course, with Ja back. Again, if you can get that Marcus Smart shooting, then you could put Kennard back to the bench. If you can get this production out of Zaire and Vince Williams to keep doing what he's doing, then now you got you can see that 8-9 man rotation certainly that is giving you production.
I'm not sure if he even mentioned Santi Aldama, who did not have a good game, but Santi is a key coming off the bench. So you're absolutely right. You expect consistency from Aldama. Zaire Williams has been anything but consistent in his young career, but of late he has produced. He was 4 of 10 from the field. Only 1 of 5 from 3. I like when he goes to the hole and doesn't just settle for the 3. He did have a couple of fouls late in the game, but Zaire's given them good, solid minutes. And you're right, Vince Williams, whether he's a starter or coming off the bench, it still boggles my mind how long it has taken them to recognize Vince Williams and what he's able to do. You feel like they missed the boat on him, or they just kept him out because it was the pecking order that they went through. Like, it's almost going through a quarterback going through their, what do you call it? Progressions. Yeah, you go through your progressions. It's almost like they went through their progressions. Zaire, LaRavia, Roddy. All right, we'll eventually get to Vince Williams. But I would think Vince Williams does this in practice as well. And to me, from the beginning, I watched that guy when he first got some minutes. I remember you laughed at me when I said Vince Williams. I go, no, I can see this guy. He jumps out of the building, he can hit the threes, and he gets rebounds. And they really need rebounding help when you have Jaren Jackson Jr., who's not a good rebounder. But all of a sudden, Jaren Jackson Jr., the last couple of games, I don't know if the light bulb's going on, but an aggressive Jaren Jackson Jr. is the best Jaren Jackson Jr. you can have. He still takes, in my opinion, too many threes, but he hit 3 of 8, and they're a 3-point, right? They take 3-point shots. They don't make a lot normally, but they certainly did on Friday night in that win against the Lakers. For those who don't know those numbers, in the 127-113 win, 23 of 45 for the Grizzlies from 3. 23 of 45. And again, they followed up with 17 made. So they made
23 of 45 with Luke Kennard, theoretically your best shooter because he leads the league in 3-point shooting, going 0 for 3.
Right.
Like what Smart did and Jaren was doing like that night, it was just like, hell, just throw it up. It's going in. Like, it just didn't matter. It seemed like whatever they did, 3-pointers were going in on Friday.
Yeah, Marcus Smart was 8 of 14 from 3. He ends up with 29. Tripp goes 31, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. Bane hit 5 of 8 threes. He had 24 and 13. Ja was 21, 7 and 7. Again, an incredibly dangerous team when these guys are all clicking and they're getting bench support. But still, when it comes down to it, when they play those teams that have the big center, that's the scoring center. Nurkic is not a scoring center, although Nurkic ended up with 18 points and 19 rebounds. So he did his job. But when they play like an Anthony Davis type, and I know there's only so many Anthony Davises to go around, that's when they have some issues because Biyombo/Tillman, they're not Steven Adams. But it is what it is. This is the hand you were dealt. And if Bain and Jackson and Ja and Smart are all going to do what they did recently, and you're going to get the bench support, as we just talked about, from the Aldamas, the Zaires, and Vince Williams. It's a dangerous team. Again, I want to see the 7 games, I've said it all along, that gets them to 41. They're 2-0 with 2 road wins. They got Dallas on Tuesday, and then they got 4 more tough ones. If they go 4-3, even 5-2, man, you're feeling really good about the chances. If they all of a sudden lose 5 straight after winning these 2, then it's back to where you hope that they're not, and that's either staying well behind that 8th spot right now, or that 10th spot. Right now, I think they're 4 games out. They were 5 going into action yesterday. Or they'll even drop a little bit further. But to see what they did the last 2 games, you certainly got to be impressed with what they're capable of doing, even without, again, their big guy.
Yeah, last week when DeMichael was on with us, that was before the Toronto game, and talked about this stretch. And I was, with a win over Toronto, which I thought they would get, thought you needed to go 4-3. Then the loss to Toronto happens. It looks like, and that was such a bad performance and so frustrating. Then it looked like, oh gosh, I started thinking there's a good chance they're going to go 2-5 in this stretch. And then you start doing the math and it starts getting really difficult. Well, now you've won the first 2. Still could go 2-5, but you have to make sure you avoid that. Hopefully, Ja's shoulder is not going to continue to be an issue, and he can get back and be ready to go. But certainly, winning those 2 games, winning one of them without Ja, now you've got an opportunity, because now you've only got one more on the road before you come back home for a couple. Mm-hmm. So you've got, or 3, I guess, at home. So it's, it gives you that opportunity to put a really good stretch together, and hopefully go 5-2 to kind of make up for that Toronto loss that before this 7-game stretch started. So again, it's quite simple with them in a lot of ways because of what it is, the way they're going to continue to play. If they make threes, they're going to they look good. If they don't make threes, they can look really bad, because they're going to shoot a bunch of threes. That's their style. That's what they do. It's what they're going to continue to do. So they need Smart hitting threes. They need some of those guys off the bench hitting threes. It helps when certainly Jaren hits threes, but to see Jaren, again, Jaren, it can be about matchups on a given night. Like if you get the matchups like last night where they just don't really have anybody to guard him, don't worry about the 3-point shot. Go to the rim. Continue to go to the rim. And eventually, theoretically, Jaren will start getting some calls. It's weird with Jaren, though, because in a lot of ways, he's awkward when he goes to the rim. And I think he doesn't get some calls because officials just kind of assume it's his awkwardness that sends him to the floor and stuff like that. I think he gets penalized sometimes because I think officials just kind of think he's almost a little bit clumsy when he goes to the rim.
Yes. I've always said that. I think people see that as well, although he's an athletic freak. But yes, at times when he's trying to take the ball to the hole, and sometimes he finishes with authority, other times he looks like the fawn, was it Bambi, I guess, in the movie Bambi, when he's on the ice, when Bambi, or I don't know if it's a she, and just all the legs and the arm, well, the legs in this case for Bambi, all spread out on the ice. It's that's, Jackson always reminded me of that kind of person, but he's really not that type of person. Yes, he's all arms and legs, but man, is he a hell of an athlete.
And to me, I'm done with the centers. I would be starting Jaren at the 5. I just don't. The centers are really giving you nothing.
Well, okay. Tillman didn't get hurt, did he? I
don't know what happened. Why he started and then didn't play. Again, on a given night, who knows what it might be. Who knows what it could be? He might tomorrow night play 40 minutes.
He plays 3. He plays 3 minutes. He goes 0 for 3 from the field, but he got 3 offensive rebounds in 3 minutes. And then they pull him out. Somebody on Twitter said, and I don't know, maybe there's some truth to this, that maybe Biyombo had to take care of business in the locker room, and so he wasn't ready to start. So Tillman started.
I don't know.
Taking care of business.
It is weird because I thought they said during the pregame that Biombo was in the starting lineup. And then all of a sudden it was Tillman. So I thought something had happened. I thought maybe that Biombo got hurt or something in the warm-ups. But then he came in. I have no idea.
And Biombo plays 26 minutes. Got 6 rebounds. He had 3 blocks. I mean, some big blocks. 3 of the 8 for the Grizzlies. So, anyway, great performance from the Grizzlies. I think their best win of the year, doing so in Phoenix with a full array of talent for that Phoenix Suns team. And then Friday night, the win over the Lakers, prompting LeBron James to say at the time, what did he say? We suck, basically, in a nutshell?
We suck right now, yeah.
Yeah. Did they end up winning last night over the Clippers?
Yeah, they beat the Clippers last night.
So, I don't know. Maybe they got their act together once he spoke. Once the King spoke to make it a public statement that we suck, they were able to bounce back. But, boy, the Grizzlies put them in the spin cycle on Friday night.
Well, I mean, after the first quarter when LeBron goes 4 for 4 from three-point range, I was like, oh, gosh, this is going to be a long night. This is not going to be – if he's going to do that. And he and Davis, he did not hit another 3, but he and Davis – normally, if they combine for 63, and then they get 19 from Austin Reeves, you're like, there's no chance you're beating that team. But again, here's the two: the Grizzlies dominated both fourth quarters. But here's the good thing: they won both second quarters.
Yay!
Let's give it up for them.
It's a new year, buddy. It's a new year.
And against the Lakers, they won the second quarter by 8. Last night, they only won it by 1. But it's nice when you don't. Dig yourself a massive hole going into halftime. Every game, you could come out in the second half and actually have a chance. It's an interesting little theory about how to play basketball.
Absolutely. But while the bench overall played a really good game last night, in that third quarter, once the starters went out and the subs started to come in, that's when the Suns took control of that game. And I thought, my gosh, get those starters back in as quickly as you can, because all of a sudden – I think you were in the lead, and then all of a sudden you were down like 9, 10, 11, something like that.
They went down 11. That's when I didn't think they had another run in them. I thought it was over. I was like, they're just that they did it once coming back. I don't think they got another one in them. But again, it was an unbelievable fourth quarter, just like it was on Friday. I mean, those 2 fourth quarters were they were awesome in the 2 fourth quarters.
And I know the guys have to get their rest. It just drives me crazy when you see it slipping through your fingertips, and then all of a sudden you're down 11 just like that. But you're right. The guys got back into the game, the starters, the combination with Vince Williams, who wasn't a starter but played so well, and that's why he got the minutes he got, and that combination absolutely worked. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about SEC basketball from the weekend.
Yeah, we've got some texts that we'll get to as well. If you want to chime in, you can. 901-360-8255. 901-360-8255. Sports 56 listener line. You can text or call us on that Sports 56 listener line.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to thank all of you who came to see us at Russell Brothers so that Christmas would be very special for your lady. Thank you for the confidence and trust that so many of you have placed in Russell Brothers for over 38 years, and we're going to work even harder in 2024 to let you know how important you are. Whether you just need a $10 battery or a $10,000 diamond ring, you will receive the very best in beauty, quality, service, and value. Our exquisite gemstones, our fashionable designs, our huge array of fine jewelry will dazzle you and will help make you a hero when you want to let her know how very extraordinary she is. We invite you to come see us at Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins, or visit us at russellbrothersfinejewelers.com. After all, doesn't she deserve the very best?
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle.
We'll talk some NFL later on in the show. The playoffs are set. Super Wildcard Weekend should be crazy with 6 games. Today is known as Black Monday. A lot of coaches get their pink slips. Washington has just fired, to no surprise, Ron Rivera. And they have announced that former Golden State Warriors GM Bob Myers, who I believe is with ESPN now, and ex-Minnesota Vikings GM Rick Spielman will help lead the search for a new coach in Washington to replace Ron Rivera. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Arthur Smith has been let go from the Atlanta Falcons as their head coach in year number 4. So a couple of firings already on this Monday.
Good on the Commanders for waiting a day and not doing it on Ron Rivera's birthday. That's very nice to not fire a man on his birthday. Raider Corey texts in, says, what a nice weekend, culminating with an even better Sunday afternoon. Despite David Jones, who plays a little reckless on the break, and the lack of rebounding collectively by the team, they still prevailed. The Raiders sweep the Broncos again. That's now 3 consecutive years of doing so. And then finally, the Grizz with another impressive road win versus the Sun. Life is good. Reggie texts in, says, hey, Eli, we got the trifecta, Tigers, Grizzlies, and Cowboys. Sorry, Greg, not Indy's day.
Yeah, that was a rough one, man. That was a rough one.
That's a painful way to end your season.
It was tough, man. It was really tough. Weekend was tough. I was so depressed I had to watch the Tigers game on television. I didn't want to go down to the Forum. Just didn't want to leave my house.
Brad, talking about the Javon Quinterly 3, says it was also the same time left in the game. Yeah, I mean, it was same player, same place on the court, and same time left in the game. Like, it was like an instant replay of that three-pointer at Tulsa.
I think it was Calkins who tweeted out, and this was funny. He goes, it's deja vu. I like that line.
John says, if Ja's healthy enough, I hope he enters the slam dunk contest.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe Ja will ever compete in the slam dunk contest.
Because it's not important anymore. It used to be something. It used to be extremely important to the players when MJ was doing it, when Dominique Wilkins was doing it, all the greats. And now it's not even close to what it was. And Ja Morant is not going to compete in that type of thing. Maybe if the superstars all were competing, it's a different story, but not now.
And Ja's best dunks are when he dunks on people. Like, that's what the great dunks by Ja are when he just goes on some dude's head. Like,
you put somebody out there.
Well, yeah, but they're not doing that, like that type of dunk in the slam dunk contest. But no, I think he would be great at it. But no, like none of the actual all-star players are doing that.
Right.
So it's I don't think there's any chance that he ever competes at a slam dunk contest.
Yeah, I don't see it either. College basketball this weekend in the SEC. Ole Miss went to Tennessee undefeated and left with a 90-64 loss. And we wanted to see really where Ole Miss stacked up. It's only one game, and that's tough to go into Thompson Bowling against a top 5 team like Tennessee and come away with a dub. But they were never in this one.
No, I never expected them to be really in it. I mean, Tennessee is a legit national championship level team. Like they are. They could win a national championship. With Ziegler now back into form.
And in the starting lineup.
Like that team is really, really good. I mean, they've got size. They've got shooting. They can play defense. Like that team is absolutely loaded. So I never – the Florida coming up this week, like at home – the Floridas, they got Vanderbilt after that. Certainly you want to beat Vanderbilt at home. But there's a lot of teams in the kind of the middle of the SEC that is going to be the separation of that. Like Tennessee's up there. They're really, really good. Kentucky's really, really good. But the Texas A&Ms and Floridas and Arkansas, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Missouri, like that whole separation, like who's going to move to the top of that group to be the NCAA tournament teams? Florida had a great chance against Kentucky and just let it get away in the second half of that game. But that, it's a Florida team that's better than probably thought they were going to be. South Carolina got a nice win over Mississippi State. Those two teams have both played well. Again, but a lot of these teams just haven't played anybody yet to really get a gauge. And so how that grouping, because there's that is a big group of teams that I think are all capable of making the NCAA tournament and being a team that gets up there in the top echelon of the SEC. But they could also all fall down to the bottom of that. I think there's a lot of very evenly matched teams all grouped together in that middle of the SEC.
I was surprised to see LSU go to Texas A&M and win that game. But like you said, it's kind of a hodgepodge when you get into the middle. Who's going to be the third, fourth, fifth best teams, behind, I would imagine, Tennessee right now and Kentucky. Kentucky, that was an impressive win. I watched a lot of that game. I like their talent. I really, really do. And they go into Florida and they rally and they win that game. The one, though, that's the shocker is Arkansas at home losing by 32. Just how good is Auburn? I didn't think Auburn was that good, but 32-point win at Bud Walton Arena? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and Auburn's certain. I didn't include Auburn in that group of the book because Auburn is above them. I don't know if Auburn is there necessarily with Tennessee and Kentucky, but they're right below them if they're not. Auburn's good. That's a good Auburn team.
I knew they were good, but I didn't think they were that good. Now Arkansas is playing like crap. 32-point win at Bud Walton Arena?
No, I mean, it just doesn't happen. Again, I think that was the biggest one ever. They just don't. Arkansas does not lose like that at home. They just absolutely, they are, I don't know what their issue is, and we've seen in years past where they've kind of gone through a bad stretch and then they recovered and put together a good run. I don't know if this team has it or not. I don't know what the deal is with Arkansas.
All right, when we come back, hour number 2, we'll talk national championship game, Michigan, Washington. Could Jim Harbaugh leave after the game, win or lose? Also some Memphis Tiger football news. We'll get back into the Tigers basketball win yesterday over SMU, the Grizzlies as well. Barrett Sallee at 8:25 from CBS Sports on the Natty. And then in hour number 3, among our topics, we'll talk plenty of NFL.
This hour of our program is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. That's located at the corner of White Station and Quince, right there in the beautiful East Memphis area. You could go and buy there whatever it is that you need for all those projects around the house. They certainly have what you need to take care of those. They've got a great staff to help you find it. Of course, they've got the Big Green Egg, platinum dealer of the Big Green Egg. So if you're looking for one of those Big Green Eggs, which is the grill that will change your life like it has changed mine, the best grill there is, last grill you'll ever need to buy, the Big Green Egg. Well, they've got all the different sizes of the egg, all the egg accessories as well at East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince.
You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Burgess.
When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Verga's Rendezvous, serving the official barbecue of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go, so Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. Two final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store. With 20 employees along with complete inventory of items, big to little, finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and Weber grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, even new keys with key fob programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws, you need it. East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Quince and White Station.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew. Monday's weekly special is Mississippi fish and chips for just $18. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A couple of cars are pulled over on 40 westbound just past Sycamore View Road as that traffic is pretty heavy now as you travel between Germantown Parkway all the way up to Sycamore View Road going westbound on I-40. It's also on the increase at times on Billmars Parkway 385 here at Ridgeway, trying to get up on that ramp there to 240. A Weimer's Jewelry located 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters this year. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:03 the time, hour number 2 here on Sport 56 Mornings, the Monday, January 8th, 2024 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Their floor model sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently partly cloudy, 38 degrees. We're looking at rain later in the day. Thunderstorms possible, high of 50, the chance of rain at 90%. Then a wind advisory will come into effect later this afternoon all the way until Wednesday. Tonight, rain with heavy rainfall possible and a low of 42 degrees. We're looking at a 100% chance of rain tonight. So act accordingly as you get your day going today here in the Memphis Mid-South area. All right, coming up in just a few moments, we're going to talk about the national championship game. But right now, I do want to tell you about our second hour sponsor each and every day, and that's James Gaddis Jewelers. Your family's jeweler at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Valentine's Day, not that far away. Yeah, we just had Christmas. I understand that. But that's what it is. It's life. You got Valentine's Day, and that'll be the 14th of February, so start thinking about your loved ones. And jewelry from James Gaddis Jewelers. And every Monday and Friday, they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know the Grizzlies pulled down a season-high 54 rebounds in last night's win in Phoenix? Triple J had a season-high 10 coming off his 9-rebound performance on Friday at the Lakers, while Vince Williams Jr. contributed 9. Every single player that played in the game for the Grizzlies had at least one rebound. Again, James Gaddis Jewelers, they are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters for Valentine's Day, for engagement rings, for any time. It's a great time to check out the fine jewelry at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. All right, so the line has moved a little bit for tonight's national championship game in Houston. Michigan now a 5.5-point favorite, opened up as a 4.5-point favorite. I don't get it. I just don't understand. I don't want to say lack of respect, but it just seems that they have undervalued Washington the entire time. I expect Washington to win this game.
It's not a great matchup for Washington. If you look at strengths and weaknesses, I mean, the weakness of Washington's defense is their run defense,
right,
which plays into the strength of what Michigan wants to do. And then on the offensive side, obviously they want to throw the ball, and Michigan's pass rush, which Alabama could not slow down. I mean, to me, it all comes down to whether they can protect Michael Penix or not. I mean, that pass rush was incredible against Alabama. Man, it's a big old Alabama offensive line, it's a bunch of 5-star guys, all that, and they could not block Michigan. Can Washington find a way? Can they run the ball enough to be able to at least mix that in and give that threat? Because if they can't run the ball and it becomes just throwing basically, and then you turn that pass rush loose, then it becomes different. Then the other side is whether Washington can stop the Michigan running game. Do they have to bring a bunch of guys, safeties down there, load the box to try and stop it? And which they should, and then make the idea is do that and see if J.J. McCarthy can beat you. If you just let them continue to run the ball, we know they'll do that. We saw it against Penn State where they ran it, 37 straight times. Like, they have no problem if they see that you can't stop the run, just continuing to run it down your throat. Can Washington stop it? I don't know. The run defense has not been very good this year. This is a great running team with a great offensive line, even without their best offensive lineman.
Yeah, all that's true, although I think Washington's a little bit better defensively than people think. I think they're an opportunistic defense. McCarthy impressed me, I'll be honest with you, against Alabama. I had predicted that he would throw an early pick in that game, and what was it, his first pass? He threw a pick, but unfortunately for Alabama, and I forget who had the pick, stepped out of bounds, so it didn't count as an interception. And then after that, McCarthy was good. He throws a hard ball, though. I mean, he fires it at his receiver. Sometimes it's a little too hard. He doesn't have much touch, but he's very accurate. So he impressed me. Corum's obviously a really good running back. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but man, he is tough as nails. So you're absolutely right. Michigan will try to run it down their throats. It's interesting. We had the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game in which Memphis and Iowa State go at it. All we heard was Memphis and their concern about Iowa State running it down their throats. coaches, when I met with the coaches for the coaches meeting, that's what they told us. Well, they were fibbing. They changed their defense all around, and they did that in 9 days. I don't know if you're going to see much of a difference in the defense in Washington, but maybe they do something, as you said, maybe there's more in the box to try to take away the run from Michigan and force McCarthy to make throws. On the flip side, there's no question. The most important thing is, can they protect Penix? I don't think Washington has to necessarily run the ball that well. They just have to show the run if they can protect Penix, because I think Penix can pick them apart. But that's a big if they protect Penix. That's the key. We'll know right off the bat, probably that first or second series when Washington's had a couple of chances out there. If he is under duress, it could be a real long night. But I'm going to just roll with it. Washington has been the underdog just about every time. Not against some of the teams they played in the Pac-12, but I think you get my point. When it's Oregon, they were the underdog the first time. They were the underdog the second time. They were the underdog against Texas. They've been kind of playing that role and playing it well, the underdog. They are the underdog in this game. They are a 5.5-point underdog in this game. So I like Washington. I just hope it'll be a really, really good game to finish off the 23 season.
Texter says Michigan definitely isn't going to try and trick anybody. You know exactly what they are, what they're going to do, but nobody's been able to stop them. Yeah, there's no. They are going to line up behind that big offensive line, try and pound the ball down your throat. They would be happy if they didn't have to throw a single pass the entire game. They are more than happy to just continue to run it at you if you allow them to do so. The thing is, with Washington's offense, nobody can guard those receivers if you give Penix time. I mean, Odunze, Polk, and McMillan, like that group of receivers, if you give him time, and especially the way he throws the deep ball, he's going to find guys. There's going to be open receivers. So it's a bottom line, like, if they can't get to him, if Washington can protect him, I certainly believe they have a chance to have a lot of success offensively. I just don't know whether they're going to be able to protect him or not.
There's also the story within the story, and that is Jim Harbaugh. Whether or not Jim Harbaugh will ride off into the sunset and take what presumably will be at least an offer from some team in the National Football League. We don't know for sure if that's the case, but that's the rumor.
Yeah, certainly. I think if he wins, I think there's a great chance he goes, because he just kind of like, I've accomplished what I can accomplish at the college level. Whether if he loses, I don't know. Certainly the Raiders, he has a relationship there. They would be a possibility. What other jobs are still going to come available? Obviously, we know a couple now with Atlanta and Washington that have come available already since yesterday's games ended. We know the ones that were in season firing. So, do the Raiders want to stay with Antonio Pierce, or do they still want to make that run at a guy like Harbaugh? There's going to be a lot of options there for him if he decides to go the NFL route. To me, I still think he is going to the NFL, but I don't believe it's like a done deal.
I like Pierce for the Raiders job unless they can get Harbaugh. I think Pierce did a really nice job. They went 5-4. They like playing for him. I think the Chargers are the ones that will offer Harbaugh, at least them. It may be multiple teams that will offer Harbaugh. And, yeah, I tend to believe that as well. I tend to believe that he'll take a job, and I think he'll take a job either way, if they win or lose. But, again, if anything, we know you can't predict anything with Harbaugh. Expect the unexpected. So, again, for tonight,
I'm sure he has Connor Stallions out there doing a lot of reconnaissance work on all the jobs to see which is the best one.
Why wouldn't you, man? He's the best. He's the best in the biz. But we'll talk more about the national championship game coming up in, about 15 minutes or so, where we're joined by Barrett Sallee from CBS Sports. Some other college football news. Brian Moss, friend of the show from Rivals, reported yesterday that Memphis Tigers defensive line coach Kyle Pope has left the program. Don't have any confirmation from the school, but Kyle Pope was a big part of that defense in that game against Iowa State. But obviously Jordan Hankins was the one who was elevated to interim defensive coordinator and subsequently has earned the permanent job as defensive coordinator. So Kyle Pope on that defensive staff, if true, maybe just looking to branch out, not sure. But again, that was reported by Rivals. Also, there was the story yesterday, and we had the story on Friday, surprising, at least my point of view, I thought it was very surprising. I think you said you were surprised too that Quinshon Judkins had hit the portal from Ole Miss. Well, yesterday there was, people try to piece stuff together and they look at where these players tweet from and where they post from and maybe where a plane is landing and all that good stuff. And they kind of connected Columbus, Ohio with Quinshon Judkins. And all I could think of was, are you kidding me? We just had Dallin Hayden on last week. We just talked about him being ready, waiting in the wings to get his opportunity. I mean, a full opportunity at Ohio State. What he has done in his freshman year and redshirt freshman year in limited time, more so his freshman year he played. And he's been impressive, really impressive, waiting in the wings, waiting his turn. And so if there's any truth to that and they end up Ohio State reaching out and getting Judkins, you got to figure they're bringing him in to be the guy. And
listen, every program in America is going to reach out to Quinshon Judkins. If you can get a Quinshon Judkins, you're going to take a Quinshon Judkins.
I think Dallin Hayden can be every bit as good. I really, really do. And that's just not local favoritism. And I know the family. I respect the family. I think that kid is that good. He's that good. But I just hope for his sake he gets that opportunity because that's got to suck. You commit. You say you're staying. You redshirt. You do all the things you're supposed to do. But that's life, right? That's football. And even at the college level now, we know it's a profession. It's a business. And so, yeah, you're going to try to better yourself no matter what position it is, no matter what the player is. And you still have that opportunity. I'm not saying that this would happen, but you still have that opportunity after spring session, whenever it opens, again, the portal, to jump in there as well because there's going to be a lot more movement in the spring. But again, nothing official with Judkins. He is sought after, no question about that. Some more NBA news before we take our next time out. We talked about the Grizzlies' victory. By the way, the Grizzlies, after playing in Dallas, Clippers Friday at home, Knicks Saturday at home, Warriors Monday at home, and then on Thursday of next week, a week from this Thursday, at Minnesota. That'll get them to 41 games, the exact halfway point of the season. Well, the Grizzlies and the Knicks all of a sudden have caught fire after the trade for OG Anunoby. They are a perfect 4-0, so I think the Knicks have improved themselves. The Clippers just beat the Grizzlies, beat them pretty bad in Los Angeles. The Mavericks have beaten the Grizzlies this year, at least one time I can remember off the top of my head. They looked good. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago with Kyrie and Luka together? And they will be the opponent on Tuesday. And then, of course, Minnesota, and we know the improvement that the Timberwolves have made. So the challenge ahead for the Grizzlies, but boy, oh boy, coming off 2 really good road wins, it's still crazy to think that they are 10-10 on the road and have 3 total home wins this year.
And again, this is what made that stretch so different, that all of those teams, other than the Warriors, are above 500. And when this stretch was starting, it was all above 500 teams. Now the Lakers have fallen below 500, and the Warriors again. And the Warriors now losing Chris Paul, getting Draymond Green back as Green gets reinstated, but Paul goes out with a hand injury and going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So, as we thought, we will see Draymond Green in all likelihood here when the Warriors come to town. So, that's a team again and that's one of the teams you're really competing with. They're another team that right now is on the outside looking in. So those are the teams you want to make sure you beat because you got to pass some of these teams. You got to pass all at least enough to get to the number 10 spot. You want to pass the ones that are right there in front of you, and you want to beat those teams, especially on your home floor.
So it's going to end up being a 12-game suspension for Draymond Green when it's all said and done?
Yeah, he was out for 12. He's been reinstated after 12. Yes.
So what did you think of that?
That's fine. I thought it would be 10. They end up at 12. That's fine.
Do you expect him to be on his best behavior?
No.
What happens if there's another incident?
That I assume he'll be suspended for longer. 20, 25 type games.
Are we going to get close to a point where if this trend continues that he could be suspended for an entire season?
Yeah, I think the message has been made clear. Like, we are no longer tolerating these types of things. And so, yeah, if he does it again, I think he'll go up to 2025. If he does it again after that, maybe it's 50, or I don't know. And then eventually, if he keeps on doing it, certainly, I think the NBA has made it quite clear. We're done.
Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. Brandon Holly is the owner of this company. He has a team of professionals that can take care of your lawn, and they do it all year long. Locally owned, family operated, not a lawn mowing service. They are a lawn treatment service, fertilization company. They make sure when spring is sprung, you won't see any weeds because they've already done the work during the off season. When the grass is dormant, during the winter time, they are applying what they call pre-emergence to control the germination of weeds. And then throughout the spring and the summer, they continue to treat your lawn with what they call post-emergence. So 12 months a year, they're taking care of your lawn. I'm not saying they're there every month, but they are there several times throughout the year to make sure that those weeds are not sprung when spring comes around. They can take care of any disease your lawn has, any insect infestation. They do an amazing job with any problems your lawn may have. It's Lawn Solutions. For more information, go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net or call them, ask for Brandon. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings, 901-867-5626. That's 901-867-5626 for Lawn Solutions. When we come back, Barrett Sallee joins us to talk Natty. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 listeners are smart enough to listen to Sports 56, and smart enough to get 25% off at Oak Court Salon. Ashley Waddell and Lane Lascola are expert stylists at Oak Court, and because they listen to Sports 56 and you listen to Sports 56, Ashley and Lane are giving you 25% off your first appointment. That's for cuts, color, highlights, balayage, Brazilian blowouts, and split-end treatments. Book today and save 25% at sports56.glossgenius.com.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there, here buck, there buck, everywhere buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good morning. They're still trying to clear up this accident over here on 240 going westbound, right at Walnut Grove. It's a lot of rubbernecking going on due to this accident involving 3 cars. Still some traffic on 240 northbound up by Lamar, trying to get up through the Midtown area as we stare at it live. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your Valentine's Day headquarters. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:24 the time on this National Championship Monday. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you. And time now to talk with Barrett Sallee.
It's time to talk some college football. Joining Greg and Eli is Barrett Sallee from CBSSports.com, CBS Sports HQ, and SiriusXM Radio. Here's Barrett Sallee with Greg and Eli.
It is always great to catch up with Barrett Sallee. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. I hope you had a great holiday with your family, Barrett. We haven't talked to you since, I think, right before Christmas.
Yeah, it's been a fun holiday week, or holiday couple weeks, and last weekend in the semifinals that was awesome, and then now we're set up for a fantastic national championship.
Do you believe, by the way, we were talking about this earlier, that Jim Harbaugh will be coaching in his final game at Michigan and will go to the NFL?
Yes, I do, and I think it's interesting because Michigan has accepted all of this for like 3 years, right? I don't know if there'd be many ADs or college programs that would just be okay with their head coach, in January and February flirting with the NFL. But it seems like everybody's on board. The players are notified of everything. And I think at this point, because of the success Michigan has had over the last 3 years, that he has gotten in the good graces of pretty much everybody in the NFL. They think he can win at a high level. He has won at a high level. And I think leaving Michigan as healthy as it possibly can be and still living out his dreams of being a Super Bowl champion, he's gotten to that point. So, yeah, I think this is the last one.
Not a bad deal if it is, because it means in his last season he only had to coach half the season.
That's right.
Right? He's just lazy. Like, I don't want to coach for 12.
Can't get that deal in the NFL. He's not able to get himself suspended for half of an NFL season. I mean, come on.
I don't know if he can get suspended for a day, much less half the season.
You mentioned the games from last week in the semifinal games. Your thoughts on the Alabama, Michigan, and especially the ending and the play call and everything else that went into that?
I'm okay with the play call. I think when you have a guy like Jalen Milroe, that's something that, in the playbook, it's something you use consistently. It's something that is, one of your top 2-point plays. So I'm okay with it. I think the execution was what sent it, to disaster. The snap was low. Jalen didn't get going at the right time. It was maybe a second delay, and that made all the difference, because if you watch, especially from the angle low from the left side of the field, you can see really what happened was the defensive end for Michigan, I think it was Josiah Stewart, I might be wrong, got him on the side as he was passing by, and ultimately that's what caused the play to fail. Because if that hadn't happened, it was wide open, but he easily could have followed 2 blockers to the left side and gotten into the end zone. So I'm okay with the play call. I think it was, we can say whether it was the right play call, but it was one that I think should have worked. The execution was just bad, and it was bad because of the snap issues in the second half, and the snap issues in the second half existed because of the protection issues in the first half. So I guess it's kind of apropos and kind of fitting that that's how it went down.
Boy, that guy got out of Dodge real quick, didn't he? The center? He's already with another team.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, could you stay at Alabama after that?
No, you can't.
I mean, you can't, right? Like, you are the villain. And how many times has the center been the villain of a team that had a devastating loss? But yeah, there's no way he could have stayed, right?
Yeah, it's amazing to see that and those issues that they had. And apparently they had them during the season as well.
Oh, yeah.
But it's crazy because the guy's still in there, meaning I don't know if they had other options, but he was still the best of the best. Obviously, he's still good enough to be a starting center for Alabama despite those woes. But I hearken back to the great Barrett Jones, who's from Memphis. And you talk about a great performer, an All-American, and he played all three positions, center, guard, and tackle on the offensive line. And you think, man, those guys they come around once in a lifetime because of the issues you saw with this guy. This is more, I think, the norm than what we had when we had Barrett Jones playing for Alabama.
Well, Barrett Jones is a great American because all Barretts are fantastic people and have no flaws whatsoever. But, yeah, I mean, well, it's interesting because, yeah, the snapping issues came earlier in the season, and that's when Bama's offensive line was horrendous. I mean, flat out horrendous. And it got better, and the snapping issues magically got better too. Well, why is that? I think it's because in the first half of the season, it's not just McLaughlin; it's the entire offensive line was rattled. You know, they were frustrated with how they were playing as a unit, and I think as a center, that makes you rush, right? It makes you just try to get the ball back there a split second quicker, and as a result, you're focused on the accuracy falls, and it has to do with the fact that you kind of got your tail kicked in the first half of the season.
That's a good point.
So, you know, I think that's kind of what happened. And then, you know, in the first half of the Michigan game, that he gives up, 5, 6 sacks, whatever it was, and it's the same problems you had in September, and everything sort of comes back to haunt you. And, you know, I think that's ultimately how that whole thing went down. And, you know, I think it goes to show that Alabama does not deserve to be mentioned among the top two teams in the country. I mean, I think it's clear that the top two teams in the country are playing and that Alabama should have and is on the outside looking in for a reason.
So with the fact that Alabama had the problems blocking Michigan, just like many teams have this year, the big question for tonight, I think that everybody, the matchup everybody looks at is Michigan's defensive front against the Washington offensive line. Can Washington protect Michael Penix enough to let him and that great group of receivers do their thing?
Yes, and here's the thing about it is even if Washington's offensive line is only slightly better than Alabama, that's a huge benefit for Washington because unlike Jalen Milroe, Penix is actually very comfortable eluding pressure, stepping up in the pocket, and delivering it on time and accurate downfield. Right? Mm-hmm. You know, when Alabama had issues against Michigan's front, Jalen Milroe held the ball too much and was a deer in headlights. Penix doesn't act like that, right? So even if Michigan wins a lot of those battles, it might not matter all that much, especially compared to what happened last week. So, but in the same time, I do think Washington's offensive line is fully capable of standing up to what Michigan has for it. I mean, I think obviously Michigan's going to win some of those battles, but even if it's 50-50, right? I think that Michael Penix is so good, you know, just eluding pressure, stepping up, and the quick release and delivering it to his wide receivers downfield. You know, that's what, like, if they win half the battles, that's, I think, enough for Washington to win the national championship.
And it's your pick, right? You picked Washington.
Oh, yeah. Washington, I think they're going to win straight up.
Yeah, I like Washington as well. And this isn't a hindsight statement I'm going to make, but I've always been in Michael Penix's corner. And I think he has been undervalued. And I think Washington as a team has been undervalued and really not appreciated for what they are. They were always the underdog against Oregon, the underdog against Texas, the underdog tonight against Michigan. And I think they like playing that role.
Yeah, they do. And, you know, I think also the shine kind of wore off of Washington down the stretch because they played so many close games within 10 points.
Right.
And it was almost like, okay, yeah, they beat Oregon, but you shouldn't struggle with Washington State. You shouldn't really struggle with Arizona State. You know, it's almost like, yeah, we respect them, but are they really capable of doing this? And at some point, you just have to tip your hat and say, okay, they can win close games. They're good at that, and that's a trait that not a lot of teams have. So, yeah, I think Washington, that's their comfort zone. That's how they operate best. And I think for Michigan, that's not how they operate best, because they only had to do it once. And we don't. And right now, that was an extremely sloppy game. Now, granted, J.J. McCarthy led them down to the tying touchdown near the end of the game, and then obviously they won it in overtime. But Washington's used to those situations. Michigan is not. So, it's the respect for Washington should be there. It has to be there. The pieces of that team are built in a way where they have no issue keeping to their game plan and sticking to what they know, what works. And so, it's been fun to watch that team. There's no doubt.
We know what Michigan wants to do offensively. They want to run the football, and they're very good at it with a great offensive line. Washington's run defense has not been great, certainly. Texas was able to run the ball on them. They just didn't run it a whole lot because they got behind, and they did have a couple of fumbles. But can Washington slow down Michigan's run game?
That's ultimately going to be what tells the tale, right? Because if Washington can slow down that rushing attack just enough, Washington's secondary is actually really, really good. Michael Powell has been fantastic. Jabbar Muhammad, I don't know if people know about him all as much as they probably should. So even though the stats might not show what kind of secondary Washington is, it's because of the way that they play games. They played a lot of shootouts, right? Washington's front seven is going to be a problem. So I think early on, you have to be able to stack the box and say, all right, look, JJ, if you beat us, you beat us, right? If you beat us through the air, you and Roman Wilson and the rest of that crew, so be it. So can Washington's defense stop that rushing attack playing traditional Washington defense? No. They're going to have to bring as much pressure as possible and force Michigan to adjust. So if they do that, then I think, or if Washington is able to bring all that pressure and slow down that attack, then that might be enough. But if Blake Corum gets going, if Donovan Edwards gets going, that's bad news. So I think it just depends on how much they do early, and if they're successful early, then that will ultimately, I think, tell the tale of the game.
And unlike Alabama's defense, they may want to also pay attention to those running backs as receivers. Because Alabama just let those guys, when they went out of the backfield, we don't care about those guys.
Alabama's game plan was just, I knew it was bad. But, it's funny, though, because you mentioned that, but also I think that could go to the other side, right? Because Washington used Michael Penix as a design runner a lot more than they have throughout the course of the season. So now, I think Michigan's going to be on the lookout for that. Well, what's the next curveball that Washington could throw? Running backs as receivers out of the backfield. So I think that's an interesting aspect of this game that I don't think people are looking at right now, and it might be a much bigger factor on both sides than maybe we realize.
Barrett, one of the narratives leading up to this game has been with Michigan and everything that went down with the sign stealing with Connor Stallions, that there should be an asterisk next to their name if they win the championship, that it is certainly in some eyes not done by the standards of which college football is, and that's above board. They've done things that shouldn't be done. They've done illegal things in the game, stealing signs the way they did with Stallions at these opponents' games. Do you feel, or any of your colleagues feel at CBS or at SiriusXM, that it is a tainted championship if they win?
I think we've talked about that on both sides, right? I think that to me, it would be a lot like Florida State and the Jameis Winston deal because of all that he had to go through, or the Auburn situation with Cam Newton, right? Because it's tainted, but after a while, it sort of just goes away, right? You sort of just view it as, that might have been a little sketchy, but everyone's kind of sketchy. I think that's kind of where this will end up, sort of going if Michigan wins the national championship. Asterisk, no, because, if you put an asterisk next to every shady national championship, you'd have an asterisk next to every single one, right? But if you have the situations, I think, like Auburn and like Florida State, there's an uproar over a period of time, and then you're just like, yeah, okay, they just won a national championship. How much did it really help? And, it definitely helped, but, they're still good. They still have to execute. And I think ultimately, there'd be an uproar, but it would disappear.
Baseball players, and you're a big baseball fan like we are, right? For all those years with the steroids, hey, they were still the best of that era, and they're still penalized for that. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's
still hard to hit a baseball.
It's still hard to hit a baseball.
Hitting a baseball with a round bat hitting a round baseball with a round bat still is hard. I don't care if you're on steroids.
Thrown at about 99 or 100 miles an hour at you, and that's the argument we would give. But yet, still, they're on the outside looking in. And yes, with Winston, with Auburn, and all that, it's a little bit different. We're talking about whether they play players that shouldn't have been played, or whether players got illegal benefits, which is all a moot point today in this day and age of college football. We're talking about literally stealing signs at other stadiums against the opponents that Michigan would play. And Eli, I know you've been pretty adamant about it. You feel they shouldn't even be in this position.
No, I would have banned them from the postseason. To me, it's exactly what the Astros did. But
100%.
But to your point, Barrett, it does. Like, it just, after a while,
we'll forget everything.
It goes
right?
away. Like, they were the national champions, and nobody remembers what happened at all during the season.
Yeah, and nobody ends up caring all that much, right?
Yeah.
I think it goes back one of those things. You shouldn't do it. You should maybe be banned. It should not be allowed. But you still played really well, right? The 2004 national championship got vacated because of Reggie Bush, right?
Yeah.
I saw Reggie Bush. He was awesome, right?
Yeah.
And they probably still deserve that national championship. So, I feel like they should be banned. Do I think it would be vacated at some point? Probably. But to me, after a while, you kind of just look back and say, damn, that seems good.
Yeah. The vacated part, that stuff just drives me crazy, because it's like everybody remembers it happening. So who cares whether there's a banner hanging or not? My whole thing about, because my thing is with what they ended up doing, and I guess, again, going forward, they could still, to me, there didn't need to be much of an investigation. We all know what they were doing. But the precedent they have set, there is no real deterrent from teams doing this, because there just wasn't much of a penalty to it.
Well, I do think, though, if Jim Harbaugh stays, then it's going to be a significant, the hammer's going to come down in multiple reasons. One, for the spy thing, and one because Jim Harbaugh lied in a completely separate investigation.
Yeah.
If Jim Harbaugh doesn't leave, there's still going to be the hammer that comes down, but you won't see a coach suspended. You won't see a huge fine to the coach, all that other stuff, because you won't be there, right? So, ultimately, I think it'll be vacated. They're going to lose a ton of scholarships. It's just how the NCAA is going to treat it, and it will do all it can to try to deter this practice from happening again. And I think they'll be relatively successful, but it won't eradicate the practice from happening.
We all believe that Harbaugh is leaving. If Harbaugh leaves, do they go to Sharon Moore, or do they go out? Do they go outside and go try and hire a big name coach?
I would say they go to Sharon Moore. I mean, the dude led you to a win over Ohio State, and obviously he led 3.5 games. He won I don't know how many. Did he coach an entire game, or was he one of the ones that did half?
No,
can't remember. Anyway,
I thought he coached an entire game, but I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, I mean, either way, he was the head coach of one of those. That's hard to do. It's hard to motivate that team in a situation like that and get the job done. So, I would say Sharon Moore.
So you don't believe Brian Kelly's going there?
I think Brian Kelly would flirt with it to a point where he would try to get a big raise from LSU. And if he doesn't get that raise, then, okay, maybe things change quite a bit. But I do think LSU would dole out enough to make it worth his while.
Did I see it correctly? Does LSU have the number one quarterback, number one running back, and number one wide receiver in the 25 class committed?
As of now, yeah, I believe that's right. Because one of the running back committed at the All-American game in Orlando last week, I believe.
So they got the number one at all three positions. Again, a lot could change between now and the actually signing and all that stuff. That's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive, but it's not shocking to me. Final thing, Barrett. Now, this was surprising to me. Were you surprised that Judkins left Ole Miss?
Yes, because I was told he was sticking around and that they had finalized an NIL deal. I was told this at the Peach Bowl. I don't know what changed. I would imagine somebody got in his ear and said, hey, you're worth a lot more than what you're going to get with this deal. And he probably heard from some suitors that, yeah, you might be able to actually get that. I think that with him, there's going to be somebody that gives him what he wants. Because it's like one of those things where, yeah, you might not be worth what everybody says you're worth, but all you got to be is worth what one person says.
Right. But I'm surprised because Ole Miss with the Grove Collective has so much that they're divvying out that I'm surprised that I'd love to know what number it is that they offered that he turned down to go somewhere else, because it has to be pretty astronomical.
And people have brought up, and I don't know if this is true, but like the college football, it could be kind of the NFL syndrome, like that they're not willing to pay that much for the running back position. They look at like the NFL, like we're not going to pay that much for that position. We look at the other positions and be more important.
100%. You know, I've been told multiple times that outside of quarterback, the players that get the biggest offers are offensive linemen.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, and if you're Quinshon Judkins and you've been there producing, and they're out recruiting bringing all these portal guys, and they're getting more than you'd be like, well, wait a second, I've been here producing for 2 years. Give me that. I could certainly see where that could upset somebody. And their thing is, listen, we just don't care about running back. We'll find another running back.
Yeah, but are they privy to that information? Do they find out what other guys are getting?
Well, it's like a game of telephone, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you guys I make, $1 million, and by the time, it gets traced back, it's $10 million. Right?
Well, again, I mean, listen, those guys are talking, and you see you see the stuff they're buying and driving and all that stuff. You got to get an idea, like, wait, I think this guy's doing probably better than I am.
Damn, Barrett, I thought you made $20 million, man. I'm way off.
Well, if you want to pay me that, I will. Sports 56 Memphis. But I don't know your program director's name, but yeah,
that's me.
I'll take that. I'll do the midday show.
Yeah, it's Eli. He'll give you the money. Hey, listen, enjoy the Nationals. Enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully, it's a really good one. I'm with you with Washington, and we'll talk about it next Monday.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Barrett.
Yeah, I can certainly see where, if you're Judkins, and if that's the case, like that they're like kind of downgrading running backs all across.
That's a good
the
point.
Work,
That's a good point.
You're like, wait a second, you guys, you're bringing in all these guys out of the portal. I've been here doing it for 2 years, and these guys are getting more than me or getting even equal to me. Like, I could see where that's the case. And I could also see where that might be the situation. Like, literally college football coaches and look at, like, the NFL. Like, yeah, running back's just not that important a position to us. Like, we'll find another guy to run the football.
Yeah, it's maybe I'm way off, but you hear all these stories about what somebody makes and what somebody doesn't make. Maybe the numbers are just skewed, but then you have Matt Rule come out and say, what, for a good quarterback, $1.5 million, $2 million, whatever he said. You think about those type of numbers, it's just crazy. But I'm thinking Judkins, to keep Judkins, I mean, what did he want? What was he getting? I'd love to know those numbers.
And again, all of these guys, as at any other, you might as well try the free agency once.
Sure.
You might as well see what's out there.
Right.
You don't know for sure. You can always get like, not like you have to be in the portal to know what might be out there. I'm sure he got something, but let me see what's out there. If I put myself on the market, what is somebody willing to pay me? Because again, as Barrett said, it only takes one to be willing to really pay me.
But that's why it's so crazy when you think right here in Memphis, Seth Hennigan's situation. Absolutely. I mean, Ryan's got to be counting his lucky stars every single day. They've had this guy now going on his 4th year, starting quarterback, same team. There can't be many, if there's anybody at all, in the country in the same position as they are in. Unbelievable.
Well, if I was Seth Hennigan, I wouldn't do it this way. If I was advising Seth Hennigan, I would not tell him to do it this way. But good for him. Like, that's what he wants to do.
You're not saying to necessarily leave, but you're saying at least test the waters.
Yeah. Go see what the free agency market has to offer for you. If you get a chance to be a free agent every year in any sport, go be that free agent. See what's out there. See what somebody might be willing to pay you. Especially because, again, it's not like Seth Hennigan is some he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. He's going to make a ton of money in the NFL. Like, we don't.
But he's a damn good college quarterback.
He's a damn good college quarterback.
Yeah.
And so this may be his one opportunity to really make money.
Yeah.
So again, more power to him. It's great. Whatever decision any of these guys make, I support whatever you want to do. That's great. That's your decision, your life. Do whatever you want to do. If I was Seth Hennigan, no chance in hell I would have done it this way.
I have no idea, but I'm telling you, in my opinion, a lot of that comes from being a coach's son. He's got a coach for a dad. I think that has a lot to do with things.
Fleet Feet is the place to go to get all your running gear. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet at either one of their 2 locations. That's in East Memphis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center, out at Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy, next door to Huey's. You can go see them. They take a look at the way you run or the way you walk, fit you with shoes that are just right for you. And I know a lot of folks with the new year probably made that New Year's resolution to start exercising, working out, running, walking, whatever it is. Well, go see the folks at Fleet Feet as you get started with that. And if you need advice on how to kind of started in running, maybe you want to train for some races and do some 5Ks and other things this year, they could certainly help you because they're all runners and they'll help you with that as well. But go see them, Fleet Feet, either one of the 2 locations. You can also find them online where they keep you up to date with things they've got going on. They do group runs and other stuff that you can get involved with as well. FleetFeetMemphis.com, the website. They're also all over social media, keeping you updated on those things they've got going on at Fleet Feet.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long. And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at LawnSolutionsInc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56, real sports talk.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
All the names that will be in the class of 2024 College Football Hall of Fame will be announced today, but some of the names are trickling in. Yesterday was the announcement on ESPN that Randy Moss and Alex Smith, both now analysts with the network, are going into the Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2024. Brett McMurphy just reported that Dewey Selman, Michael Vick, Frank Solich also will be going in. Last year it was D'Angelo Williams, of course, from the University of Memphis, part of the class of 2023. So those names will be all officially announced today, coinciding with the national championship game tonight in Houston. Good thing, though, it starts at 6:30 Central Time, so it won't be one of those really, really late nights.
Yeah, I kept thinking when I would see 6:30, I thought that was going to be like, that's when like the pregame, the official like pregame show started. And I just assumed like the game was kicking off at like 7:15 or something. But yeah, it's 6:30 kickoff. God bless you. Love you. Let's do more of those.
Exactly. You get a 3-hour game, although who knows? Yeah. I know. It's laughable.
3 hours will be starting the fourth quarter.
But if it's, even if it's, let's say 3.5, that's 10 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Not great, but not bad. Not bad. At least it's not ending at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm guessing it, although if Michigan does have a lot of success running the ball, that'll speed it up some. But I'm guessing it will be right around a 4-hour game.
We have a lot to talk about in the National Football League. If you missed it from this morning, Ron Rivera has been canned by the Commanders, no surprise. Arthur Smith yesterday, I guess it came out early this morning or late last night, that he's gone from Atlanta. We will talk about all the games that just happened in the final week of the regular season, the matchups coming up in the Super Wild Card weekend. That'll be coming up in hour number 3. Also, the latest as far as coaching rumors are concerned. Still nothing concrete with New England and Bill Belichick. We also had players. This was interesting. Players saying goodbye yesterday, but they're not gone yet from their teams. That was kind of strange.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of obviously Justin Fields is the interesting decision that has to be made by the Bears, but most people believe the Titans or that Derrick Henry's done with the Titans. So I don't.
Obviously, they both believe that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Derrick Henry took the microphone, and it was really, really nice what he said about the fans of Nashville, the Titans fans, Titan Nation. He doesn't expect to be back. Fields, it's still interesting with Justin Fields and what they could do. There's so many options for the Bears, and he started to play well towards the end of the year. Now, not a great performance yesterday. That shouldn't make a difference. It's really everything in totality, but yeah, he expects to be gone. He said, I have no regrets, and he shouldn't have any regrets.
Anyway, he was dealt a bad hand a lot of ways with the changes in the system, and they didn't have coaches who understood how to use him. I still believe Justin Fields ends up being a good NFL quarterback.
I do too. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, it's all about the NFL, and then in our final segment, we'll get back to Sunday's crazy games. The Tigers and their 3-point win over SMU on the heroics once again by Javon Quinterly, and the Grizzlies playing maybe, arguably, their best game of the year in knocking off the Phoenix Suns. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sports 56 listener lines at 901-360-8255. You can also hit us up via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or on the website, sportsmemphis.com. You want to talk Natty, your prediction for Washington, Michigan, that would be great as well. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew. Monday's weekly special is Mississippi fish and chips for just $18. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. There's still a couple of accidents in their clearing stages out here. Still some volume trying to get up through Midtown on 240 North up by Lamar, all the way up to Union. Traffic still a little bit crowded at times. 40 West coming past Sycamore View Road, getting on that flyover there to 240. Some of that traffic is still getting off there onto Sam Cooper. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located at 7525 Highway 64, is your Valentine's Day headquarters. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Who's lightning?
Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:03 the time. Hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Monday, January 8th, 2024 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, their floor model sale continues. It's where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently, partly cloudy skies, 40 degrees. We'll get to about 50 today, but a great chance for rain. In fact, some thunderstorms possibly, with a chance of rain at 90% tonight. 100%. You're getting rain tonight, no matter which way you look at it, and a potential for heavy rainfall, low of 42 tonight. Talk some NFL, final week of the regular season, week 18 now in the books. The playoffs are set. And here's the playoff situation as far as Super Wildcard Weekend, in case you haven't seen the schedule yet. There'll be 2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and then 1 on Monday night. On Saturday, and we'll talk about these games here in just a second, a little bit more in depth. Cleveland at Houston.
Could you try again?
Sorry, Siri. Cleveland at Houston. Miami at Kansas City. That's your Saturday lineup. The triple header on Sunday, Pittsburgh at Buffalo, Green Bay at Dallas, the Rams at Detroit, and then Monday night, the struggling Eagles at Tampa Bay. Off the top of your head, just kind of thoughts on what went down yesterday, with some surprises where obviously Jacksonville losing that game, the Titans playing really well, opened up things for a couple of the teams.
Yeah, I don't know what went wrong with Jacksonville after their start when they were 8-3 and then finished 1-5 over their last 6. Trevor Lawrence got banged up there in the one game. He had the ankle injury, and then he had the shoulder injury, all that stuff. But their defense was just awful for the most part over those last 6 games. That's amazing for them to end up missing the playoffs after where they were at 8-3. But it just seems like the Steelers make the playoffs. Like there's just like somehow, some way, no matter what, like whatever needs to happen, the Steelers end up in the playoffs at the end of the season. It's like it's a rule in the NFL that they have to make it. And so, for them to do it, the Eagles still get in, but that's another one. Like you talk about a disaster. What in the hell has happened to that team? Like they can't do anything right now.
I can't believe, and now you add injury to insult. Jalen Hurts with his finger. A.J. Brown went down.
That's like to play those guys because you're trying to like get some stuff right because you don't want to go into the postseason struggling the way you are. Then you lose, you get guys hurt, and you still have another just god awful performance. It's like they have. I don't know what I have no idea what to think of them. But right now, I don't see a way they can just kind of reset it and be good in the postseason. Like they have been. I mean, they ended the season by losing to Arizona and the Giants.
No, it was pathetic. I guess it's a good thing that of all the teams they could be playing in the postseason, they're playing the offensively challenged Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, again, like on paper, you would just say like the Eagles are better than the Buccaneers even in Tampa Bay, but if you've watched this Eagles team over the last 4 or 5 weeks, you wouldn't. There's just no way like you can believe that. It's just so bizarre to see that type of a team who would not that long ago, just a few weeks ago, had the best record in the NFL, and like some of it was a little deceiving because they were finding ways to win games that they just had no business winning. But they were making enough plays here and there, and teams would make a mistake here and there. Now they don't even give themselves a chance. They put themselves they don't make any of the plays, or they just get blown out and they're not even in a position where they can make the one big play to win the game.
It's become so bad, and I know it's topic for talk radio and topic for ESPN, but one of the topics this morning on ESPN, Nick Sirianni. if they exit early, if they lose to Tampa Bay, could he actually lose his job? The great job he has done in Philadelphia? Is that even possible? I don't think so. But yeah, there are a lot of irate Eagles fans. I got a bunch of friends who are Eagles fans, and they are not happy. Then the Sunday night game. Now, Buffalo had already known because of Jacksonville losing. They were in the playoffs. But it was strictly a battle of who was going to win the AFC East title, be the better seed, home games, things of that nature. And Buffalo, which has been the biggest roller coaster team of the year. I picked them before the season to win it all, to win the Super Bowl. We weren't even sure going into the weekend whether or not they'd make the playoffs. Miami, they feast on bad teams, don't they? They can score a lot of points on teams that aren't good. But when they have played some big games, I just don't know if Tua can get them through. And here's another big opportunity for Tua and company. And they lose to Buffalo at home, 21-14, giving the Bills their fourth straight AFC East title.
Yeah, I mean, and in fairness to Miami, I mean, they're without Jalen Waddle, they're without Raheem Mostert. Like, that's two huge losses on that offense.
True.
And Tyreek Hill's banged up, like he's not even fully healthy.
But he caught a touchdown.
That's I can understand some things. Buffalo last night, Josh Allen last night was exactly everything you love about Josh Allen and can't stand about Josh Allen. Like you don't know. Like, I mean, the first interception is just terrible. Like, he doesn't even look. He just throws the ball, assuming maybe he's got a receiver there who's open, throws it right to a guy. Then he has another interception where that one at least is on fourth down, although he had a guy that he could have hit probably for the first down, but fourth down and just throw it up. It ends up becoming a punt, basically. Then he's got the fumble. Like, so you got 3 turnovers, and you've been inside. Then the play at the end of the first half. You cannot throw the ball short of the end zone. What's he do? Throws the ball short of the end zone. They run out of time. Like, I mean, so you've been inside the 10-yard line twice, no points to show for it, and then the punt return just completely changed the game. And that from that, and give Buffalo's defense credit. That second half, they were incredible, and Miami really couldn't do anything offensively. But for Buffalo, if Josh Allen just doesn't turn the ball over, they have a chance to beat anybody in the NFL. They're good enough to beat anybody. The problem is, on any given week, Josh Allen can have those 3 or 4 turnovers, which allow them to be beat by just about anybody in the NFL as well. So it's if Miami had won, it was going to be a replay of the same game. Now at least we get some different matchups. But yeah, being a Bills fan has got to be really hard to just watch him turn the ball over, but then when they needed the big drive, he goes and gets the big drive, and he's so good running the football. He is the ultimate, like, you talk about a roller coaster ride. With that dude as your quarterback, that's a roller coaster ride.
You could have stopped your statement, though. Being a Bills fan is hard, period. Right? Especially for older fans who remember what happened in the 90s. But I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with the Bills to win it all. So as far as the seeds are concerned, in the NFC, San Francisco is your number 1 seed, so they get a bye this weekend. The Cowboys end up the NFC East champions. They're the 2 seed, taking on the Packers, the 7th seed. The Lions, the winners of the NFC North, they are the 3 seed. They'll take on the Rams. They are the 6th seed. And then the Buccaneers, by virtue of a division title, they are the 4th seed, the 4th best of the 4 division winners in the NFC. Eagles, a wild card, they are a 5 seed. In the AFC, Baltimore is your 1, so they get a bye. Buffalo ends up being the 2 seed. Again, crazy. Going into the weekend, there was a chance they wouldn't even make the playoffs. They'll take on Pittsburgh. They're back again. They're the 7th seed. Kansas City ends up the 3 seed. They'll take on Miami in that rematch. And then Houston is the 4 seed as champions of the AFC South, and they will take on the Cleveland Browns. All right, so there's a lot of stories. First of all, I want to go back. I want to take some of these games one by one. I just wanted to mention with the Titans, they finished 6-11. Their 28-20 win over Jacksonville, knocked Jacksonville out and all that jazz. You had Ryan Tannehill quarterbacking because Will Levis was hurt. Have to imagine that Tannehill's gone, right? We just talked about Derrick Henry, more than likely gone. The question is, and I don't think they would fire him, but whether or not Belichick is out in New England, will Vrabel be gone?
Again, I don't think they will get rid of him, but I could see him leaving, especially for New England, if Belichick is out, which I still think Belichick will be out.
Henry, by the way, in his what could be final game with the Titans, 19 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown. Who was better when you look at the history of the Titans at running back, Eddie George or Derrick Henry?
I don't know what the numbers would.
Both incredibly impactful.
Both really, really good. Derrick Henry's had a pretty incredible career there.
And of course, George had Steve McNair, right, for the bulk of it. So, you had a great quarterback, whereas, Tannehill, a bunch of different quarterbacks that have been used with the Titans.
So you are a Colts fan.
Yes, I'm a huge Colts fan.
What are your thoughts on the 4th and 1 play call?
I wasn't crazy about it, but I didn't go, oh, man, what are you doing here? What I didn't like was that they became so conservative on that last drive when they had Houston on their heels because they were worried about the time. They wanted to make sure they took as much time off the clock as they could. So Houston, if they got the ball back, trailing, wouldn't have time to go down there and win the game. And that got me mad. It was driving me crazy that they were going so slow. They were depending so much on the run. Just keep feeding Taylor, keep feeding Taylor, keep feeding Taylor. And then they throw a pass to a guy, I don't even know if he had any targets all game long in Goodson. The throw wasn't great, but it still should have been caught. So, again, I wasn't really upset with the call.
I don't understand how you have that guy in the game on a...
That's an issue.
If Jonathan Taylor was hurt, which certainly he was banged up, and I don't know how healthy he was, but if he's not able to go, it should be Zach Moss. I don't understand how you have that guy. You've got a 4th and 1 play to decide your season, to make the playoffs or not. And you got a guy in there, and the play call is to throw him who had 6 catches all year?
Right.
That's so crazy to me that you would rely on that guy in that moment.
Yeah, again, the play itself, okay, I'm with the play, but as far as good, okay, here's the thing. Jonathan Taylor came back from the locker room. He got back into the game. He was playing through the pain. How do you not have Jonathan Taylor on the field at least as a decoy? Because all you're doing is handing it off. They probably think you're going to hand it off again, just like Alabama and Michigan. Milroe, quarterback draw. What do they do? Quarterback draw. Well, do something where you're faking it to Taylor. Do some play action.
If Taylor was healthy enough, I'm handing the ball to Jonathan Taylor.
Well,
I'm going to go get a yard.
He's got to be in the game. We'll agree. He's got to be in the game. Instead, they bring a guy I don't think was targeted all game long. Again, the pass wasn't 100% perfect, but it still should have been caught. But it just pissed me off that they were so conservative trying to take. I get it. Just get the lead, man. Worry about it and then play some defense. I hate when teams, they worry so much about the clock that it takes away from their game. And I was really upset. Steichen, I was really upset with the play calling down the stretch and what the offense did.
The other side, the Texans, what an incredible year. From where that organization has been over the last couple of years to now what DeMeco Ryans has done.
What a job.
What C.J. Stroud is, the draft that they had this past year overall with Stroud Will Anderson and Tank Dell. I mean, it's...
And didn't even have Tank Dell. Collins was unbelievable.
It's incredible. That is, for them to win the division, just absolutely amazing. I know there's some people that want Kevin Stefanski as coach of the year because they had to go through 4 quarterbacks, and he did a great job in piecing together Cleveland. DeMeco Ryans has to be coach of the year. I mean, they were going into the year, it was thought they were one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the NFL. They won their division and they won 10 games. Amazing what the Texans did this year.
Yeah, I have no problem with DeMeco Ryans being the coach of the year. I hated it for my Colts, but I really do like C.J. Stroud. I'm not going to say I was happy for him, but he's had an unbelievable year. And the front office for the Texans should be the executives of the year in the NFL. Even a little move like Dalton Schultz, picking up Dalton Schultz as a free agent, that was huge. They're doing all the right things. It went from almost laughable decision-making over the years for the Texans in recent years to what they've done, the decision to bring in DeMeco Ryans. And with C.J. Stroud, I know he's missed a few games. Here's the thing. He easily could be the rookie of the year. But with Puka Nacua, what he did for the Rams, and they're in the playoffs, and he set a rookie record for catches and yards, God, you got to go Nacua, don't you?
I would go Stroud.
You would go Stroud?
Yeah.
I don't have an argument.
4,000 yards, like leading that team to a division title, like.
And he missed how many games? Just one or two?
He missed
a couple of games, right?
I think he missed one full game.
But again, Nacua, man, that's pretty impressive what he was able to do.
But yeah, and if Stroud wins it, there's a good chance that the Texans will do what the Jets did last year, the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year, which it hadn't happened in forever. But the Jets did it last year, and now the Texans might do it this year. But yeah, it's like that idea of that team winning 10 games, getting a home playoff game, because there's no chance in hell anybody in Houston thought that was a possibility at the beginning of the year. That first play of the game, dude, Stroud, that ball went 60 yards in the air, and it looked like it was a flick of the wrist.
Yes.
Like he didn't do anything.
Like he flicks the wrist.
And that ball just sailed. I was like, holy cow, that 60 yards in the air, and he made it look like he threw like a 10-yard pass. It just, Nico Collins is a stud too, by the way.
Big guy,
like
big guy.
That combination, man, oh man.
Couple of other notes from the games, and again, some of these games were meaningless. Others were very, very important. Green Bay taking care of business, beating their rival Chicago. How about some love, pun intended, for Jordan Love? Because going into the season, I don't think there were many that thought Green Bay was a playoff team, maybe fringe. But I don't know how many people really believed in Jordan Love. The Packers did. Rodgers traded. We know what happened with him this year with the Jets. Jordan Love, 27 of 32. 5 incompletions. 316 yards, 2 touchdowns. Leading that Packers team, which was banged up almost all season long, into the playoffs.
Yeah, he turned it around midseason. He looked really bad for most of the year, and I don't know what has kind of clicked for him or what, but he certainly has been really good down the stretch for them.
And what was the other one I was going to bring up? Oh, New Orleans and Atlanta. And again, Arthur Smith fired. No surprise. In a game they had the win, they lose 48-17. But the end of the game, with the touchdown that the Saints scored in the final moments, by the way, Derek Carr was great with 4 touchdown passes. Arthur Smith, Dennis Allen meet at midfield, and Smith goes bat crazy on him because they scored that touchdown. They had gone into what looked like victory formation, and they end up scoring a touchdown. But it wasn't Dennis Allen. It was Jameis freaking Winston.
It was all the players. Like the players just decided amongst themselves that we're going to score the touchdown. And
what was this, like a Rudy situation?
They wanted to get Jamal Williams a touchdown. I don't know why they felt the need to get Jamal Williams a touchdown, but they felt the need that they want to get Jamal Williams a touchdown. And it's like
going against your coach.
If I would have been Dennis Allen, I would have been freaking out. Like, I don't know, what are you guys doing? Like,
exactly.
I'd have been going off on them. That is so ridiculous that they would just be like, no, we don't care what coach says. We're going to go ahead and run a play here. And Jamal, you're going to score a touchdown. If I was a head coach and my team just completely disregarded me and did that, I would be so pissed.
So Jameis Winston, he said it after the game that, like you said, they went against the coach's decision. But because he said that they went for the touchdown because of the interceptions got him to the 1. And so he was like, well, I mean, since we already at the 1, we might as well just go ahead and just put in.
That's BS.
But that's just dumb. That's absolute that's BS. Idiotic. Like there's no, you
First
run
of all,
the clock out.
You run the clock out, but you don't go against your coach.
And even if you wanted to, like, for whatever reason, say you wanted to score the touchdown, line up as if you're going to run a play. Don't line up in victory formation telling the defense you're going to kneel down and then run a play out of it and score a touchdown. Like, that's absolutely rubbing it in their face. Like, we're going to run. No, we're not. We're going to actually run a play. We're going to score a touchdown on you. We're going to trick you.
Yeah, this isn't one of those deals where you go, well, you know what? You should have stopped them, right? You should have played better defense. This wasn't one of those. They went into victory formation. Instead, they ran the ball. Winston and the guys decided they were going to do this against their coach, which, like you said, I would be so pissed right now if I was the coach. But what did you think of Arthur Smith? He didn't know that, and I don't know if he still wouldn't have gone ballistic, but he went ballistic on the coach.
I would absolutely. If I'm Arthur Smith, I would have went ballistic. Again, I would have been pissed if I'm Arthur Smith. I would have been pissed if I'm Dennis Allen. Like, I don't know, what Dennis Allen was saying to him and if he's trying to explain it like I didn't call it or whatever. But no, if I'm Arthur Smith, if I'm any one of the member of the Falcons, I would be livid that you line up in a victory formation and then run a touchdown on us.
This video will live forever of Dennis Allen getting cussed out by Arthur Smith, and it should never have happened, or at least, it should never have happened because they never should have run the play.
And the thing is, now obviously Arthur Smith won't be there, but there are going to be a lot of Falcons players, because these two teams are going to play twice next year. There's going to be some Falcons players who will remember what they did, what the Saints did at the end of that game.
Hey, Zach, did you have a chance to look it up? How many teams that ended up getting into the playoff field this year were not in the playoffs last year?
There were 8 teams that were in the playoffs last year.
That are in it this year?
Yes.
So that means 6. It's, again, the numbers are just about 500 every single time. It's crazy how that happens. 8 repeats, 6 new playoff teams.
Yeah, and we had a worst to first with the Texans, which happens just about every single year. That's the NFL.
And none of them being the Jets. It continues for the New York Jets. But the Jets did finally get that albatross off their backs, and that's a win over the Patriots. They snap a 15-game skid in winning 17-3. All right, well, more on the matchups when we come back, because there are some great storylines. And then back to the Tigers and the Grizzlies. If you want to hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines, 901-360-8255. Folks, lunch, dinner, anytime's a good time for Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, a Memphis tradition for 4 decades. And they will cater any size event you got coming up. So whether it be a family get-together, something for the office, you want to treat your workers to a nice lunch or dinner, give them a call over at Corky's, and they will take care of that for you. If you're just heading to lunch or to dinner tonight, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $6.99 when you purchase one of their delicious entrees, whether it be a pulled pork sandwich or platter, maybe their award-winning catfish plate. They got party packs that start at just $7.49 and lunch specials every single day. Located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. They also have a private party room at the Cordova and Olive Branch location. So if you're celebrating a birthday or anniversary, graduation, give them a call and reserve their private party room today. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They're taking care of business in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced. Let our professional parts people test your battery for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
What's wrong? You look bereft.
I am bereft.
What is it?
Well, there's only 3 Central Barbecue locations. The original Central Barbecue in Central, it's closed.
Oh, don't worry, little buckaroo. The location on Central will be back before you know it and better than ever. Now, there's still the location on Summer. You love that one, right?
Yeah.
And there's still the Central Barbecue downtown and the Central Barbecue on Poplar. You love those too, right?
I do love those.
So you could go to those, and then when Central Barbecue on Central reopens, it'll be like Christmas, but with pork.
I feel better already.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Fiveash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Power is everything.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So, Jameis Winston after the game, this was one of his quotes. The score was already 41-17, so I don't know how much worse it can get. You start with that. Probably a bad start. But I got a ton of respect for Arthur Smith and the coach that he is. I didn't want to disrespect.
Coach that he was.
But that was not my intention. My intention was to lead the team that I've been with the entire year. We made a collective decision that we wanted to get one of our guys that they fight with, blood, sweat, and tears every game, in the end zone. I'm going to feel good about that. This is the thing. It's about the team. It's not about regrets. It's not about anything else. It's about us as a team making a collective decision. But I do apologize to Dennis. I apologize to DA because that was not his call.
What? You're a player. You went against the coach.
So you didn't want to disrespect the other coach. How about disrespecting your coach and not doing what he did? And Arthur Smith after the game, talked about, like, listen, they can do what they want to do, blah, blah, blah. But Calais Campbell was talking about what I said. He said, I wish they would have lined up in run formation. Don't look like you're going to take a knee, then run the ball. He said, I was frustrated because I feel like there was a way to do it if you're going to do it. Like, that's the thing. Like, don't trick us just to be able to do that. Like, if you want to line up to run a play, we'll play defense against you. But don't tell us you're going to kneel down and then run a play to add an extra touchdown at the end of the game. It's
like in college basketball when the game is running out, the time is running out, and they got the bench warmer in there, and the kids never scored a point, and the fans are going crazy, but the coach tells them not to shoot. Dribbling it out, the defense stops, and if all of a sudden that kid goes to the bucket and lays it in or something, he's going to piss off the other team because you're showing that you've given up, you waved the white flag, you're winning the game, you don't want the kid to shoot, you call off the dogs, and then all of a sudden you do something like that. You can understand why people are upset. You can understand why Arthur Smith was upset. He also was probably thinking about his future as well, and it all came together and he imploded.
Well, yeah, they just lost the second half 31-0. He knows he's probably getting fired based on that being the last half of the season. But yeah, I would have been pissed if I'm him. I'd be Des Allen. I'd be so pissed at my players for making me have to take the brunt of that when you guys are just doing stupid stuff on your own. And yeah, okay, so Jamal Williams is out there in blood, sweat, and blah, blah, blah. Jamal Williams has scored plenty of touchdowns in his NFL career. I just don't understand what the need was to get Jamal Williams a touchdown. He wasn't going for some record. There wasn't some
clause. There wasn't
bonus.
a clause
in
his contract,
so.
Right.
By the way, how funny was Jadeveon Clowney when he got the sack? I've never seen a person celebrate like that over getting, knowing you just got some big clause in your contract. The dude's literally dancing on the field because he just got a sack and knows he just made $750,000.
By the way, how many of Brandon's props hit? We know that Chris Jones got the sack.
Well, OBJ didn't play.
He didn't play, yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins ended up 3 yards short. I think.
Wow.
I don't know what his number was for sure. I heard differing numbers on Hopkins, so I don't know if he got. I had heard 49. But I think that I heard somebody else that it was a few less than that, and I think he ended up at 45 or something. So he may have got it. I don't know.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm looking in the wrong place. I couldn't find sacks, and I wanted to bet the Chris Jones sack. Now,
a lot of places weren't putting that stuff up.
Okay, is that what it was?
They know what the situation is. They're not going to give you the opportunity.
Well, Brandon's talking about doing prop bets. I'm like, well, yeah, let me jump on this Chris Jones, and I couldn't find it anywhere. All right.
If you went to the Ravens-Steelers game, there were no Ravens props available, because they don't know who's playing and how much or anything like that, so they're just not going to give you the opportunity to bet any of those things.
Gotcha. So real quick, again, we'll talk a lot more about the Super Wild Card weekend as this week progresses. But some of the interesting side stories. You have the Rams at the Lions. That means Matthew Stafford comes back to Detroit, and Jared Goff goes up against his former team. That'll be an interesting matchup, and how they treat Matthew Stafford as a fan base in Detroit is very rare for the Lions to get to the postseason. You have Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys going up against McCarthy's former team, the Green Bay Packers. Cleveland and Houston, it's not really a story because Deshaun Watson is hurt and he's out, but Cleveland playing Houston, that's Watson's former team. Miami and Kansas City, we know what happened during the regular season between those two teams. Then you have Pittsburgh and Buffalo, and Philly and Tampa. Philly and Tampa, I think there was a side story there, I forgot. But a lot of little interesting tidbits going into these games.
Well, the Miami-Kansas City game, people are already starting to, but it is going to be a complete meltdown on Saturday night when everybody realizes that game is not available on television and only available on Peacock. It is going to be, we're going to have the Swifties are going to lose their mind when they realize that they can't watch the Chiefs unless they have Peacock.
I can't watch it. I don't get Peacock.
I get
a million things. I don't get Peacock.
I am stunned that they put that game as the Peacock game. I thought I would have bet $1 million that it was going to be the Eagles-Buccaneers on the Peacock game. That there's no way they would use, especially not Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs on Peacock. But that's it. There's going to be a complete meltdown Saturday night across the nation when people are like, where's this football game? Why can't I watch the football game?
It's going to be.
It's on Peacock. What the hell?
Exactly. Also over the weekend, the new UFL had their initial player dispersal process, and the Memphis Showboats, I know you tweeted out that you thought they did very, very well. I'm looking at some of the names they were able to bring in, including Jonathan Adams, who I loved him when he played at Arkansas State, wide receiver, who previously was with New Orleans. They also get a quarterback in Case Cookus, who was with Philadelphia.
No, I mean, obviously, when you're taking 4 teams and dispersing them among 4, there's going to be everybody's going to do really well, but what they were able to do in upgrading their offense with the guys they got. I mean, Cookus he led Philadelphia to the championship game last year. Sage Surratt, the tight end from New Orleans, was one of the he led the league in receiving for much of the year, and then I think he ended up finishing second or third in receptions. He was incredible.
He may have been with the Memphis Express too,
as the pass catching tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Adams is a really good receiver. They go get Darius Victor at running back, who was the offensive player of the year 2 years ago in the league. Thick thighs save lives.
Yep.
And he's got the thickest. They went and got a couple of offensive linemen. Like they look. Their defense was good last year. The offense struggled a bit. They look like they upgraded. They go get Vinny Papali back, which I think he's just a good guy to have around special teams, and he's one of those guys on offense can help you. They look.
Derek Dillon's still there, right?
They look like they upgraded their offense pretty significantly with what they did. Though I still don't understand. This was what the USFL was like this last year, and now the UFL. I, for the life of me, don't understand why the league tried to keep this draft a secret. Why aren't you broadcasting it, telling everybody every single pick? The only picks that there was leaks, reporters this guy just got drafted. Why is the league not announce every single draft pick? Let fans know who their team is picking. It's like they don't want people to know their rosters, which I don't understand that thought process. You should absolutely want the fans to know who's on the roster, who the players are on their team.
Well, here's what you don't want to do.
They still have not, they still haven't sent out anything. The league still has not sent out anything saying, here's who all the picks were from all the teams. The league did nothing. They did not announce a single thing. It's only reporters figuring out who the picks are.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is make the fan base work for that information.
Yeah,
you want to make it easy for them.
They had a chance. I think the fans of these teams would have been really interested in, if you're I don't know why you wouldn't have a league Twitter account, literally saying, this guy just went here. This guy just went here. You should hell, I'd have been broadcasting it on YouTube or something. Let people watch it. It's weird how they wanted to keep the thing secret. And everybody's here's the picks that have leaked out. Why do draft picks have to leak out?
No, I'm with you. So who do you think ends up winning the job, unless there's another quarterback that I don't know of, Cookus or Kelly?
I would guess that Cookus does. Cookus was really good last year.
Yeah, I remember him. I don't remember him specifically, but I remember the name, and I remember him doing some things. But, Cole Kelly had his moments, but certainly slow. He's big, lumbering, but did some good things. So it'll be interesting to see that competition. Also, one other note before we take our final timeout. We'll come back and, again, the big stories, obviously, from yesterday. The Memphis Tigers win. The Grizzlies win in Phoenix. We'll go over that again for those of you who live in a cave. But tomorrow, I believe, it could be today, but I think it's tomorrow if I have this correct, is the Memphis City Council meeting, the first of the new year, where the minutes from the last meeting in December are expected to be approved, which was the whole stadium deal, the handing over of the stadium to the University of Memphis from the city. I believe that is on the docket for tomorrow. So obviously a big day. Tomorrow on the show, we won't have that information if it is tomorrow while we're on the air, but certainly we'll talk more about that and the recap of what happens tonight in Houston, the national championship game. That's correct? Zach, thank you. So
yeah, that's correct.
It'll be Tuesday. So, yeah, tomorrow will be a big news story as far as the council is concerned, to then get this thing in motion as far as getting the work started at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
We talked earlier about the fact that Draymond Green reinstated now, and still will be playing against the Grizzlies when they come in here. Interesting story about Draymond Green that Woj has. We'll talk about coming up here in just a little bit. East Coast Wings and Grill. Folks, the NFL playoffs are here. All kinds of action, of course, going on this weekend. Of course, the Grizzlies in action, the Tigers in action, all of those games. Of course, tonight's national championship game as well. You can watch it all up at East Coast Wings and Grill. They got great TVs to watch all of the action of whatever it is that is on. And while you're doing so, you can enjoy great food and great drinks. When it comes to wings, they've got 60 different flavors to choose from. And they give you good big wings, big meaty wings, not those tiny little things you get at some places. Of course, they've got flatbreads and sandwiches and burgers and all kinds of other great food on the menu. But, of course, the wings are the highlight, and 60 flavors to choose from, 7 different heat indexes available as well. Of course, beers, 24 draft beers on tap, any other beers that you need, drinks, all of that, they got you taken care of. East Coast Wings and Grill, located just off Highway 64, Kate Hyde Boulevard, which runs right between Lowe's and Walmart. That's where you'll find them. East Coast Wings and Grill.
And let me correct something I said earlier. I think I said Arthur Smith was in his 4th year. He was in his 3rd year. So 3 straight 7-10 seasons. Owner Arthur Blank said pretty bluntly, the results on the field have not met our expectations. And they're going to go in a different direction. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go, so Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. 2 final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
Shop O'Reilly Auto Parts for do-it-right deals on motor oil, wiper blades, and more. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card, or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Witness the power.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I've been roaming around, always looking down at all I see.
So according to Woj, and this is from a segment that he heard, I guess that I don't think it's been released yet, but publicly, but the latest episode of the Draymond Green Show, Draymond's podcast, Draymond says in there that Adam Silver talked him out of retiring.
Really?
He says, I told him, Adam, this is too much for me. This is too much. It's all becoming too much for me, and I'm going to retire.
Oh, is this a little...
He said, Adam Silver then said, you're making a rash decision. I won't let you do that. Draymond says, we had a long, great conversation, very helpful to me, very thankful to play in a league with a commissioner like Adam, who's more about helping you than hurting you, helping you than punishing you. He's more about the players.
Sounds like he's doing a little for the next time. Hey, the next time I choke somebody or kick somebody in the nads, maybe Adam will remember when I talk so highly of him. I don't buy it.
Maybe next time Adam Silver will let him retire, too.
Maybe the next time he will. Maybe he will. Little baseball news over the weekend. Teoscar Hernandez, signed by, guess who? The Dodgers. More money spent by the Dodgers. Incredible. He played with Seattle last year. Didn't have the big season that he had a couple of years ago, but a very capable player. They were able to get him signed over the weekend. The Dodgers are signing everybody, apparently.
Yeah. If somebody signed and they're any good at all, you could assume they signed with the Dodgers.
It's nuts.
I don't know. I think they're also going to allow the Dodgers to play with a 15-man lineup. They're going to do it like Little League, where everybody gets to bat, regardless if you're a player or not.
Right.
You can just bat 15 guys and then decide who's playing in the field. But I don't know. It's just insane. Like it's ridiculous.
What, you're gonna have all the players like scattered out in the outfield?
No, you get to play your normal 9 in the field, but everybody gets to bat.
Bats, yeah.
Everybody just bats. You have like a 15-man batting order, but you still only have your 9 people in the field. Just like the folks at Little League do it. I don't know. I don't even know how they plan on sorting through all their position players and all that stuff, but it's not fair. It's just, this is what sours, I think, a lot of people in baseball, is that one team can just go do this, and there's nothing preventing them from doing it.
The Tigers will find out later today if they've moved any in the polls, the coaches poll, the writers poll, the AP poll, where they were 15th in both polls last week. The net, again, they're right around 48, was it? The number is 48 for those who care about that. Right now it is a little bit early, but something we talk about, of course, when it comes to the net, because that's very important when the selection committee puts together their seedings for the NCAA tournament. Tigers winning yesterday over SMU. I'm sure most of you saw. If you didn't see it live, you've seen the highlights of Javon Quinterly hitting a game-winning three-pointer for a second straight game. So the Tigers with 2 games so far in conference play at Tulsa, home to SMU, winning both games by 3 points in the final seconds on Javon Quinterly three-pointers. Tigers are back in action on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. They'll host UTSA, a team that is coming off an overtime win over Rice. So far, the American Conference has been a little weird, to say the least. Florida Atlantic losing at Charlotte, 70-68. Tulane getting blasted by North Texas, 70-56. Tigers just keep finding ways to win games, although they are certainly playing with fire. And then after the game on Wednesday at home, they'll play Wichita State this weekend on the road. The Shockers were losers over the weekend. In the meantime, the Grizzlies back in action tomorrow night in Dallas, coming off a great win over Phoenix after Friday night's win against the Lakers. They are now 10-10 on the road this year. Just, it's mind-boggling. 10-10 away from home. That includes a bunch of games without Ja. Yet they only have 3 home wins. After tomorrow night's game in Dallas, they're back home Friday to play the Clippers, Saturday to play the Knicks, who are unbeaten since they made the move to bring in OG Anunoby in the trade with Toronto. And then Monday, they will play the Golden State Warriors. And yes, Draymond Green is back with the Warriors. And then a trip to Minnesota. That will get them to 41 games, the exact even point of the season, the halfway point of the season. Where will the Grizzlies stand? We talked about this 7-game stretch, but right now, off to a terrific start at 2-0.
Got a texter says, salute to the Grizzlies with 2 excellent road back-to-back wins. Another one says, Grind City, loving these last 2 performances. More like them. Another one says, Grizz Nation needs another long-term winning streak, 2 in a row and counting. Well, let's say if you can get this Marcus Smart shooting threes the way he has the last 2 games, and get this Jaren Jackson Jr. not only scoring the way he has, but rebounding the way he has the last 2 games. Continue to get the production off the bench from Vince and Zaire. Hopefully get Ja back in the lineup. That certainly, don't want to go too long without Ja. Get him back in the lineup. But Marcus Smart is him hitting threes, that's a big-time game changer, because having that extra shooter in that starting lineup with Desmond. You got Ja, Desmond, and then this Marcus Smart shooting threes. That becomes really tough for defenses to try and handle.
Right. You know what you were getting when you were getting Marcus Smart. You were getting a great defensive player, perimeter defender, a great leader, a winner. Good offensive player. But he had not really shown that up to this point. He was hurt for a big stretch of games, but we saw what he could do defensively. Really didn't see him integrate it to the offense and him perform the way he really needs to. And you're right. He needs to step up, and he has certainly stepped up the last few games. Now, he doesn't have to hit 8 to 10 threes every game, but boy, if he's hitting 4 or 5 threes to go with Dez and what he's able to do from 3, Luke Kennard, what he's able to do from 3, then you mix in Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja and their occasional threes, even Zaire, who's contributing now. Man, that gives you firepower with that three-point shot, and that's what they've been dependent on, is that three-point shot this year. And unfortunately, it has gone awry, and it has cost them an awful lot. Not having Ja certainly cost them the most, but not being able to consistently hit those threes. Now you're hitting threes. You got Ja back, even though he didn't play in this game against Phoenix. He's back. The bench is more solid because you're not going to the very end of the bench with guys that really don't contribute much. You are now going to the rotation that you expected at the beginning of the year, minus, of course, a starter in Steven Adams and Brandon Clark.
Yeah, and hopefully, Brandon Clark can be back, maybe around the All-Star break or so next month. I don't know. I don't know for sure what that timetable looks like, but hopefully you can get him back at some point. Again, because at this point you're getting very little out of the center position. If he can come back and give you some production out of the center position with everything else that you've got going on, and all these guys can stay healthy, then again, this offense should be a much different offense.
Yeah, even if we say, let's say March 1st, after the All-Star break, March 1st, and he's back able to contribute, as long as those games are meaningful by that point, and which goes back to what we've been talking about with this team. They're 10 games under 500. They've pulled it within 4 of the 10th spot in the West. And these final 5 before they get to the halfway mark, can they win?
They're 4.5 out.
4.5 out, excuse me. Can they win 3 out of 5? This is a tough stretch, but already winning 2 road games at the Lakers, and I know the Lakers have been struggling. Still, the way you played incredibly well. And then going into Phoenix with a full arsenal for the Suns and winning that game without Ja, that to me, again, you could argue, this is just my opinion, I think it's the best win this season. And hopefully that gets them on a roll right now. It'll be tough going into Dallas. They've lost there before. You got Kyrie and Luka both playing together over the weekend and played really well. You never know. You never know if Kyrie's going to be playing in the game or not, but more than likely both of them will play, and that'll be a challenge tomorrow night.
Well, they made 40 threes over these last 2 games. If they can average 20 made threes every game, I like their chances to find their way back into it.
Hey, I'll settle for... What's a legitimate number? 12? 12 threes?
They need more than that. Because they're going to shoot. They're just going to shoot. So they're shooting so many of them.
So if you shoot 45, you get 15. You're shooting 33%.
I mean, they're going to shoot around probably 40 threes per game.
Yeah. I mean, they shot 49 in this game.
17 last night.
Yeah, they shot it 49 times, but still a good percentage. What did I say the percentage was? About 34, near 35%?
Last night, they were 34.7.
Yeah, you'll take that.
But, I mean, if you're going to shoot around 40 threes per game, you need to be making probably 14, 15 of those.
Right. No, I agree.
Again, part of that is making sure you got the right guy shooting them. And that's Desmond, that's Kennard, that's Smart doing what he's doing now. That's Jaren. Santi can shoot some threes. Zaire can shoot a three.
But you don't need to see Josh shooting it 9 or 10 times from 3, right?
No, I don't. Josh shouldn't be shooting a bunch of 3 shots.
He's done that a couple
Josh
times.
should be shooting. There will be games where he's hot, and then they go ahead and shoot some more. If you make 3 of your first 5 or 2 of your first 3 or something like that, go ahead and shoot some more. But if you're 1 for 4, let's lay off the 3. You're too good. Get to the basket. Same thing with Jaren. I don't have a problem with Jaren shooting. Jaren's a good shooter. But if you start off 1 for 4 or 0 for 3 or whatever, go to the basket. Go do your other thing. You could score that way. And Jaren, to me, Jaren shouldn't be the catch and shoot corner threes. Jaren is so much better trailing on the break and stepping into the 3 out top. That's where he is way better as a 3-point shooter.
Absolutely, I agree. That'll do it for us today. Of course, the Natty tonight. It's Washington. It's Michigan. We'll be back tomorrow starting bright and early at 7 a.m. to talk about the national championship game. Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South will join us. We'll also talk University of Memphis athletics with Jeff Crane. Zoe Goodson from Rhodes will join us. It's all coming up tomorrow. Big thanks to Barrett Salih for joining us today. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy your Monday, everybody.